Stop what you're doing, stop what you're chewing. Cambridge United, your new leaders over in League One. Are they the real deal? We're going to take a little look. Today we're looking forward to match number 5 in this year's EFL League One campaign, with Cambridge United sitting pretty at the top of the table, of course. But will they be there at the end of this match day? We'll take a little look in just 1 second. If you're new, where you've been, smash your subscribe button back to all things Rovers related, League One related, world football related. We're going to all hear boys under one rooski. That's right, Cambridge are top. They are level on points with, of course, a whole bunch of other teams, but realistically, on goal difference, they're sitting pretty way up there for all to see. We'll have a look at it, all of it, in a second. Of course, people should have VIPs. They are the patrons, of course. You know who you are. But anyway, let's get into it and show you what I'm talking about. That's right. As we look back from match number 4 into, of course, the future, into match number 5 we go. So here are those results, and some bangers indeed. Of course, we start with Bolton. At home, you would bank this one, wouldn't you? 2-0 win, I thought. 4-0 demolition job for Wigan as they give themselves a big old boost up the table. Meanwhile, Blackpool, 1-0 win was my pick over Leyton Orient. 0-0 it was, still yet to concede a goal, I believe, according to my eyes. Cambridge against Bristol Rovers, I went with a draw on that one, 2-0 win it was. Shit show, FC in my eyes. Exeter with the big 2-0 win over Carlisle. I went with the 1-0 win the other way. Port Vale, 3-2 win over Charlton Athletic. I went the other way. Derby County, though, did beat Fleetwood. I went with a 2-0. It was a 1-0 in the end. Barnsley lost to Oxford 3-1. They've, despite their opening day heroics with that 7-0 demolition job of Port Vale, they've not really got off the blocks nicely. They have a 3-1 win in the end. Reading 2-0 win over Stevenage. Good result for them. I went with a draw. Peterborough did lose to Northampton Town. 1-0 win for them over at Sixfields. Pompey with a 0-0 draw against Cheltenham. Shrewsbury losing to Lincoln, and Wycombe and Burton doing out to 0-0 draw. So I think I did absolutely terrible there, guys. I think I might have only got 1, which is absolutely shocking. We don't want to look at it too much. So only 1 prediction right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Of course, don't forget we have a prediction league. You can get involved. It is free, 100%. And of course, just like some of these guys, that's right, here we go. A couple of other guys there with 0. Shepherd also with 1. James B50 also with 1. But if we look at the top there, Callum H, Chris Stocks, Daniel Sway, Reflex Swift, Swindon Harvey, Tetley Teabag, Old Cheltenham. There's some cool names in there, all with 4 as well. They're flexing their stuff. And of course, doing the business over in League One. So get in there, it's free, get your name out there, a big shout out as well. This, of course, is the overall leaderboard. As you can see, it's not a 100% success rate, it's 100% correct, it's about 95, 99% success. There might be some doubles in there. We will clean that up. Don't you worry if you see your name in there twice. I can't see anything in the moment, but it's ultra open right now. 23 points on the ball. Blue Jack plays with 22. Luke NTFC alongside Shadowdot and Tom Davies right now. They are, of course, the leading pack. And then, of course, the chasing pack is not so far away. But don't forget, of course, these games come thick and fast, and you can get yourself right in the thick. Some people will take days off. Some people will miss the predictions. So get in there. Even now, still plenty of time to get involved. Of course, this is the table right here right now. Now, this is, of course, includes Wigan without the points deduction. So you will see Wigan there, but I'll give you the actual status there. It's Cambridge right now in actual clear and outright lead. They're ninth spot with Bolton, Peterborough, Oxford, Stevenage, and Pompey in the playoffs. Wigan, with that 8-point deduction, they are, of course, down into 19th. So, yes, they're the team to avoid right now. They're on fire, and it looks like they could do very, very well this season, despite that 8-point deduction. And of course, going down Burton, Leyton Orient, Cheltenham Town, Fleetwood Town, all 4 teams down there with just the 1 point, looking grim at the moment down there. But again, it's early days, guys. Let's not look too hard at the table right now. But I think for starts of the season, Cambridge and Stevenage are licking their lips. And they could actually be, if they can keep this going for a good part of the season, you just don't know. And of course, that next game is just around the corner. And of course, don't forget, you can get involved with our own prediction league, 100% free. Cut the 4 League One and get your name in lights, guys. These are the next games, and they're coming at you thick and fast, of course. So, without further ado, let's get into the deep end and have a little look at, of course, the first game, of course, come at you this coming, I think it is the weekend. It is the 26th of August. It is Bristol Rovers. It is Wycombe. So let's get the deep end on this one then, of course. Now, these two sides have played each other 26 times, according to my eyes, since 2004 anyway. 12 wins for Bristol Rovers, 13 wins for Wycombe. I've got one draw. Bristol Rovers, biggest win for them, 5-1 win, scoring 37 goals in those 26 games, 1.42 goals game ratio. Up against Wycombe, of course, their biggest win was a 2-0 win, scoring 32 goals in the 26 games, 1.23 goals game ratio, of course. 50% form for Bristol Rovers, 1-2 lost to and drawn to over the last 6. Up against Wycombe, also on 52% form, 1-2 lost to and drawn to over the last 6. Last time around, over in Bristol was a 2-0 win for Wycombe, who actually unbeaten against Bristol Rovers over the last 5, picking up 4 wins and 1 draw. But Wycombe, they're trying to bounce back with a couple of games unbeaten now. 3-2 win over Leyton, Orient, and a 0-0 draw against Burton. Up against Bristol Rovers, who are hot and cold. They really are hot and cold. 2-0 to Cambridge, 2-1 win over Charlton most recently. Looking forward, of course, Wycombe still in the Cup, taking on Sutton United. Bristol Rovers are just planning for this game, of course. But anyway, the odds. Let's have a look at the odds for this game. We do have 6-5 is your Bristol Rovers, 23-10 is your Wycombe Wanderers, and 23-10 is the draw. Sorry, where am I? I'm right here. Of course, I am going to go with, of course, a cheeky 2-0 win for Bristol Rovers to push them up the table, and, of course, continue Wycombe's on and off sort of season so far. Next up, we have Bolton go to Burton at the Pirelli. That's right. Now, these two sides have played each other 9 times since 2015. 5 wins for Burton, 1 win for Bolton, and 3 draws. Burton, though, yet to really get going this season without a win in the last 6. Just 8% form for them right now. Up against Bolton, of course, just 1 defeat past 6. 83% form for them right now, winning 5 of the last 6. Burton's biggest win over Bolton, 3-1 win, scoring 15 goals in those 9 games, 1.67 goals game ratio. Up against Bolton's 2-1 win, that's their biggest. It's actually their only win. 9 goals scored in those 9 games, 1 goal a game average. Last time around, though, over at the Pirelli, it was a 3-1 win for Burton back in February 2022. Burton just 1 loss against Bolton over the last 6. That was, of course, a couple of seasons ago, looks like. Bolton, though, of course, losing to Wigan most recently, 4-0 loss there. Burton back to a 0-0 draw against Wycombe most recently. The odds for here, 16-5 is your Burton, 11-10 on is your Bolton, 3-2 is the draw here. I've got to back Bolton here, 2-1 win for them. I think they are real deal, despite their loss to their rivals, Wigan Athletic, last weekend. Cheltenham up against Northampton Town. Let's get into this one then. Also on Saturday, this coming weekend. Played each other 33 times since 2003, 13 wins to Cheltenham, 11 wins to Northampton, 9 draws, of course. Cheltenham's biggest win, 2-0 win, scoring 46 goals in those 33 games, 1.39 goals game ratio. Up against Northampton Town, 3-0 win was their biggest, scoring 46 goals, also 1.39 goals game ratio as well. Northampton, 42% form for them right now, back-to-back games now without a loss. Meanwhile, Cheltenham without a win all season. In fact, they haven't won in the last 7 games. Looking very, very woeful at the moment. Last round, over at Cheltenham was a 3-0 win for Northampton. That was back in June 2020. It was the League 2 playoffs. Last time they played each other in the league, though, outright. Normal season was also a 2-1 win for Cheltenham back in February 2020. That same season, again, over in League 2. Cheltenham with a 0-0 draw against Portsmouth. Yet to score a goal this season. Very, very concerning up top. Meanwhile, Northampton Town pick up a 1-0 win over Peterborough. Big result for them most recently. 11-8 is your Cheltenham. 2-1 is your Northampton. 9-4 is the draw here. Got to back another goalless affair. Cheltenham really need a goal scorer and fast. Kicking off forward is Exeter City up against Reading, of course. It'll be a tasty one, this one. Of course, Exeter coming at you over in a 7th spot right now. Up against Reading, of course, in 13th. They've only played each other 1 time since 2014. It was a win for Reading. It was a 1-0 win. Of course, Exeter, though, just 1 defeat past 5. 58% form for them right now. Reading winning 3 on the 4. They start to click into gear under Ruben Sellis right now. That one and only win was a 1-0 win for Reading back in July 2014. It was a friendly. Of course, Reading now back-to-back 2-0, back-to-back clean sheets for them, beating Cheltenham and beating Stevenage most recently. Exeter, 2-0 win over Carlisle. Big win for them on the road. But the odds here, 6-5 is Exeter, 9-4 is Reading. 9-4 was also the draw here. I'm back in a 1-0 win for Exeter. Of course, yep, Reading are decent. Decent side, and I think they'll be up there towards the back end of the season. But Exeter at home it's a tricky place to go. Kicking on forward, it is Stevenage, it is Pompey. That's right. 2 sides who have had a great start to the season. Portsmouth, I think, the only team remaining unbeaten thus far. Played each other 14 times to 2010, 6 wins apiece, and a couple of draws. Stevenage, though, biggest win for them, 3-0 win, scoring 21 goals in those 14 games, 1.50 goals game ratio. Up against Pompey, 3-0 win was their biggest, 23 goals scored in those 14 games, 1.64 goals game ratio. Of course, Portsmouth, though, unbeaten in the last 5, pick up 3 wins and a couple of draws. Stevenage just 1 defeated past 6, 83% form for them. at the moment. Last time around, though, these two sides played each other in the league in Stevenage. It was way back in March 2017. 3-0 win it was for Stevenage. Of course, Stevenage did lose to Reading most recently. Portsmouth with a 0-0 draw against Cheltenham. And again, 3 games now without conceding a goal for Pompey. They look airtight at the back. The odds, though, for this one, we do have, where are you, Stevenage? 31-20 for the victory, 23-10 is the draw. We've also got 70-10 is your Pompey here. Going to go with a 2-1 win for the hosts. I like Stevenage. I really like to see them do very, very well. I think Steve Evans is a fantastic coach, and I would love to see him in the big time, in the Championship, of course. But we'll see if he can maintain this start to the season. Fleetwood Town struggling against Shrewsbury Town, also not doing the greatest at the moment. Now, these two sides have played each other 19 times since 2015. Of course, Fleetwood, 9 wins, of course. 3-0 the biggest, 25 goals scored in those 19 games, 1.32 goals game ratio. Up against Shrewsbury, 3-0 win was their biggest, scoring just 15 goals in those 19 games, 0.79 goals game ratio. Of course, Shrewsbury in 12th place at the moment. That's not bad. It's better than I thought. Just 1 win in 4, though, for them. Meanwhile, Fleetwood 4 defeats on the spin. Scott Brown facing a bit of a early season crisis for the, what do they call these guys? The Codders or something like that. Anyway, last time I played each other over at Fleetwood, it was a 1-0 win for Shrewsbury back in October 2022. In fact, the home side has not won since Fleetwood beat Shrewsbury back at Fleetwood in October 2020. Fleetwood, of course, back-to-back defeats for them. In fact, 3-4 defeats on the spin. Shrewsbury, of course, losing to Lincoln most recently, 1-0 over at Gay Meadow. The odds, though, for this one, we do have Fleetwood Town 11-10 for the victory, 11-4 is the away side, 21-10 is the draw here. Going to back a draw here, point apiece. Fleetwood really need a result, but Shrewsbury are an awkward team. You just don't know what's going to show up for them. Meanwhile, Leyton Orient against Cambridge United. Contrasting starts to the season as Leyton Orient are in a relegation zone. Cambridge battling for promotion, of course. It's top versus nearly bottom as Leyton Orient take on Cambridge for the 16th time since 2003. 4 wins for Leyton Orient, 5 wins for Cambridge, and 6 draws, of course. We've got 4-1 win was the biggest for Orient, scoring 20 goals in those 15 games, 1.33 goals game ratio. Up against Cambridge, 3-0 win was their biggest, scoring 22 goals in those 15 games, 1.47 goals game ratio. Cambridge, though, 50% form for them right now, won 3 and lost 3. Up against Leyton Orient without a win in the last 14 games. It's a terrible start for Wellens boys. Last time around, though, over at Brisbane Road, it was a 4-2 win for Cambridge back in April 2021. Leyton Orient were struggling for goals. Of course, they didn't get any last time around against Blackpool, but they did have a couple against Wycombe, but they did lose. Meanwhile, Cambridge 2-0 win against Bristol Rovers. Solid result, of course, following on from that loss against table toppers, high flyers, Stevenage Borough. But of course, this one tight. Going to go with a draw here. I think the Orient will get a draw at least to at least start the count a little bit for them this season. Lincoln City up against Blackpool, of course. I think they've had a fantastic airtight defence this season. I'm actually having a quick look at it right now just to confirm. Yeah, yet to concede a goal. However, yet to score many goals as their middle of the road average sort of season keeps on going. Played each other 5 times since 2019. These two sides, 2 wins apiece and a draw. The biggest win for Lincoln, 3-2 wins, scoring 8 goals in those 5 games, 1.60 goals a game ratio. Up against Blackpool, also scoring 2-1 win was their biggest, 8 goals scored in the 5 games, 1.60 goals a game ratio. Blackpool, though, unbeaten in the last 6 games, 3 draws on the spin, though. Up against Lincoln City, unbeaten in the last 4, 58% for them over the last 6. Last round, over at the Sinsel Bank, it was a 2-2 draw back in October 2021. Blackpool now 3 successive 0-0 draws on the spin. They are airtight at the back, but they suck going forward, it looks like. Meanwhile, Lincoln with a 1-win over Shrewsbury most recently. But the odds right here, right now, we've got coming at you over at Lincoln City. It's 8-5 for the host, 7-4 is your away win, and 11-5 is the draw. Going to go with a 1-0 win for Blackpool here. Again, airtight defence. They'll get the goal in my eyes. And, of course, move up the ladder to continue unbeaten. They're also, just like Portsmouth, unbeaten so far this season, but they need to make some roads up the table. Oxford United up against Charlton Athletic coming at the Kazam. Played each other 22 times since 1993. 7 wins for Oxford, 9 wins for Charlton. And we've got 6 draws, of course. Oxford, 67% form for them right now. 3 wins on the spin for them. Up against Charlton, of course. 4 defeats on the spin. They're down to 18th up against Oxford's 4th. 4-0 win was the biggest for Oxford over the course of those 22 games. 28 goals scored in those 22 games. 1.27 goals game ratio. Up against Charlton, 4-0 win was their biggest. 35 goals scored in those 22 games. 1.59 goals game ratio. Of course, last time around, though, Oxford, 3-1 win for them back in December 2022. Oxford unbeaten against Charlton over the last 5, pick up 3 wins and a couple of draws. They also come into on the back of that 3-1 win over Barnsley. Charlton with that 3-2 loss against Port Vale most recently, still ringing in their ears. The odds right here, right now, we've got Oxford coming at you at 2017 on for the victory. 5-2 is the draw, 14-5 is your away win. I'm backing Oxford here, 2 to win for them. Liam Manning has these guys working an absolute treat. Into the next one, another zinger. It's Peterborough, it's Derby. It's over at wherever they play their game. I can't remember where they play. Played to the 12 times, it's done 3, 4 wins for Peterborough, 6 wins for Derby. We've got 2 draws, of course. Peterborough, biggest win for them over Derby, 3-0 win, scoring 16 goals in those 12 games, 1.33 goals a game ratio. Up against Derby, also 3-0 win was their biggest, scoring 19 goals in those 12 games, 1.58 goals a game ratio. Of course, Derby, though, 2 wins of the last 6, 33% form for them right now. Peterborough, just 1 defeat past 6, 83% form for them. They are 3rd against Derby's 10th in the table. Last 6 games have all ended up with a home win here, so it's a home banker, it looks like. The posh, though, coming to us on the back of the 1-0 loss against Northampton Town. Derby with a 1-0 win over Fleetwood, of course, over at Pride Park. The odds for this one, 8-5 is your host, 11-5. The draw, 9-5 is your away win here. We are backing posh with a 1-0 win, get the 3 points, and can they, of course, be top of the table? We'll see. Port Vale against Carlisle United. What a response it's been from Port Vale since their opening day thrashing. 18 times they played each other, these two sides. 6 wins for Port Vale, 9 for Carlisle, 3 draws, of course. Port Vale, though, unbeaten the last 4, 58% form for them right now, with a 3-1 win, their biggest over Carlisle, scoring 24 goals in those 18 games, 1.33 goals game ratio. Up against Carlisle, their biggest win over Port Vale, 2-0 win, scoring 27 goals in those 18 games, 1.50 goals game ratio. However, they come into us on 17% form without a win in the last 7 games, of course. Last time around, though, over at Port Vale, that was a 0-0 draw back in August 2021. That was in League 2. Vale, though, with a 3-2 win over Charlton most recently. Carlisle with a 1-0 loss against Exeter City. Of course, the odds right here, right now, coming at you over at Vale Park. It's even Stevens to Port Vale. 12-5 is the draw. 11-4 is the away win here. I'm back in Port Vale. Yes, I am. 1-0 win for them over Carlisle to, of course, flirt with the top. Wigan Athletic up against Barnsley, of course. These two sides locking horns over at the DW. That's right. Wigan on paper in 19th spot up against Barnsley in 15th spot. Played each other 13 times in 2003. 8 wins for Wigan, 2 for Barnsley, 3 draws, of course. Barnsley's biggest win, 4-1 win, scoring 13 goals in those 13 games. That's a goal a game average. Up against Wigan, of course, scoring 6-0 win was the highest. 27 goals scored in those 13 games, 2.08 goals a game ratio. They come into this on 1 defeat in the past 6, 75% form for them right now. Barnsley, though, without a win in 4 to 42% form for them as well. Last round, though, over at the DW was a 0-0 draw back in August 2019. That was in the Championship. Wigan with a big 4-0 win over Bolton most recently. Barnsley with a 3-1 loss to Oxford. The odds here, 5-4 is your Wigan, 5-2 is your draw, 2-1 is your away win here. Got to back the host here, 2-1 win for Wigan, and that, my friends, should complete my match number 5 predictions. And as you can see in black and white, there it is in all its glory. And if I'm right, again, we're taking on form merit, not including the points deductions of Reading and Wigan. This is what the table will look like. Not like this, but this, that's right. It'll be Wigan top on form, actual form. Bolton Wanderers will be mathematically top with Oxford, Peterborough, Stevenage, Cambridge, and then Exeter in the playoffs. We're going to be in the mix somewhere. Of course, going down Burton, Leyton, Orient, Cheltenham, and Fleetwood, of course. So that's that. Again, don't forget to get your picks in with the prediction league. It's 100% free. And of course, I'll see you back around when we do match day number 6, of course, as we look forward to the end of the month, of course. Who will be your manager of the month for League One? Let me know down below. Of course, surely Wigan's Maloney's going to be up there. Of course, Bolton's bad boy Everett also going to be a contender. Cambridge, Stevenage coaches as well. Let me know your thoughts and opinions for your manager of the month for League One. And of course, we'll have a little look and see if you're right whenever that comes back around. But until then, guys, subscribe, thumbs up, hit the bell. And of course, catch you back when we come back again for the next round of matches.